The U.S. Open Cup run on hold for now. The MLS run still right on track.
And that one flicked towards goal in!
Almost 2 months without a loss, and FC Cincinnati is riding a wave of positivity. A break and a return to the fortress, just what the doctor ordered after a grueling stretch of games. But the international break, not a break for everyone, as FC Cincinnati players take to the international stage. Cincinnati, here we go. Good evening, everyone. I'm Caleb No. He is Kevin McCluskey. This is FC Cincinnati Weekly. Kevin dressed appropriately. I don't know if he's copying me or if I'm copying him.
We just have great taste.
Either way it works. So much to unpack from this past week's game in Vancouver. I think going into that game, you're thinking you're playing on an odd turf field on the other side of the country against a good team. FC Cincinnati's played however many games in the last few weeks. You would have been okay with any kind of result going into that, but then you score a late goal to take the lead. Yet you come out of there with just a draw.
That's the tough thing to kind of accept, I think. The plan going there, it was probably discussed with the team, if you get a tie and a point, you'd be happy with it. It's just the fashion, as far as Vancouver, how they equalised late in the game. It's a penalty kick, and you just feel a little bit kind of bitter, in giving up those other 2 points that you thought you had in the bag.
Yeah. All right, we're going to dive into it here. It was a fairly even game throughout, but heated up in the late goings. Let's go to British Columbia. Matt Miazga involved in a lot of the critical action Saturday, including that go-ahead goal. We'll get to that. But early on, this play almost put FC Cincinnati up in the 12th minute. It was the deep service from Miazga. Brandon Vasquez not quite able to put it in the net. Yeah,
Matt's obviously a strong defensive player playing centre back for this team, but we've seen it time and time again too. His range of passing, he can knock the ball 50, 60 yards, really on a dime. This is a great opportunity for Brandon Vasquez. He lays it in front of him. Brandon has a tough time with 4 players coming. He gets past the last player. It's a good shot, but the goalkeeper ends up getting that decisive save.
And it was a similar way to how they scored a goal last week, a similar way to how they scored the go-ahead goal later on in this game. But, man, the opportunities were there for FC Cincinnati in the first half. I mean, there were 2 or 3 opportunities where you're like, if FC Cincinnati gets any of these types of opportunities, 9 out of 10 times the ball's going in the net.
Yeah, typically you see that, especially at TQL Stadium too. Converting those chances into goals on the road is always a little bit tougher, and especially Vancouver, they're very defensive-minded. A ton of effort plays, last-ditch plays, where they're going to throw their bodies, they try to stop and they try to block. There's another opportunity for Brandon Vasquez, a great cross in from Alvaro, and just a little bit, about 2 or 3 inches off.
Yeah. And again, you think about, like, Brandon Vasquez puts that in the net, right?
Exactly, yeah, 100%. And as you said, it was a game where chances were created.
68th minute, Lucho Acosta subs in. As we've seen so many times before, the game just seemed to change, and there he is putting the ball in the net.
And again, for him, he can slow the game down, right? He's got the vision, he understands where the keeper is. It's a fantastic chip and great awareness just to see where the space was. He just takes a little look up, sees the goalkeeper stuck at the front post. Again, Matt Miazga is the provider, as we talked about, so it's a long pass in, and Acosta, just a beautiful finish into that far net.
Like, if you've not played soccer before, I think it's hard to understand just how skillful that was. The ball is coming from behind you. Yep. It's your first touch. You're on the run, and you have to touch it perfectly. I mean, it has to be perfect.
Inch perfect.
Over the head of the keeper into the net.
Yeah, it's a special skill set that he has. Obviously, he's got a great first touch, but just his awareness to finish, to set out, his teammates up as well is always special.
So FC Cincinnati took the 1-0 lead, but just minutes later, a foul in the box by Matt Miazga, a guy you don't expect to make that mistake. I mean, he's a great player for FC Cincinnati. He is sort of an anchor for that back line. Just a very, very unfortunate and maybe even unlucky mistake.
Yeah, it's, he's just slightly out of position. I think you can talk about fatigue. I think you can talk about tiredness. Those things kind of creep into play. And for Matt Miazga, as you said, typically doesn't make those challenges, those mistakes. But he's also a player that's played 17 games, started 17 games. I think over 1,500 minutes so far this season. So you talked about the travel. It's always going to happen, and that's at times just mental fatigue more than physical fatigue. Maybe just lets you down just a little bit.
Yeah, and part of you thinks like, well, it'll be nice to have this little break, but then on the flip side, and we'll get to it later on in the show, it's not much of a break for him because he's going to be playing with the national team. The brutal stretch of 10 games in 5 weeks is over. FC Cincinnati comes out with an incredible 9 wins and 1 draw in that stretch. Coming right at the end of that streak, right at the end of that last game was that one draw, I should mention. Pat Noonan talked about fatigue after that Vancouver draw Saturday night.
You could see some really heavy legs, and then always when you're mentally fatigued, the decision making, with and without the ball, your positioning, all of these things become so important, to get a result. It's hard to go on the road in this league. It's hard to understand the different surface and how to, play the game with how the ball moves and bounces, and then to do it going, 3 time zones. It's that's always challenging. So, again, I think there's a lot of positives for our guys to take away from this game.
All right, so the international break, a well-earned break for FC Cincinnati after the past month, since, what we mentioned has been a very busy stretch for the team. Yeah,
it's a tough stretch. I think the rest is definitely welcomed. I think certainly by the players, but I'm sure the support staff too as well. You think about the intensity of those games and the recovery time needed. So there's a lot of support in the back end that people don't see of getting those guys back out healthy, ready to compete again. So it's good. I think if you look at the results, incredible. As far as the results, so impressive. And I think that's, obviously physically they're fit enough, but I think mentally too, just the mentality, that winning mentality that Pat Noonan has instilled in his team. And again, the players' belief in him and belief in each other, it's just been, it's been a thrill to watch.
Sure. FC Cincinnati has this weekend off. Next week, Toronto comes to town. Let's take a look at our match preview brought to you by Tri-State GMC Buick. Toronto has what was the highest paid player in Major League Soccer, the Italian Lorenzo Insigne. Now he's the second highest paid player, maybe about to be number 3 later on this summer. Anyway, there's a reason he makes that kind of paycheck.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think Toronto, definitely we're up there as far as pay in general. But I think for FC Cincinnati, he's a player that they're going to have to watch. We've seen a lot of talented players come in. He's no different. A player, again, that's an attacking-minded midfielder. He can drop and he can play in different positions as well. But he's going to score goals. He's going to set up plays. And I think for FC Cincinnati, especially with midfield and defense, they're going to have to try to shut him down.
Obviously, a very early look at this match against Toronto, but coming back home to TQL Stadium, that's got to be nice for this team to get back in the fortress. What do they have to do to beat a team like Toronto?
Well, I think just be consistent, right? I think, again, just coming off of that road tie with Vancouver, as you mentioned, they've got this weekend off, so a little bit more time to kind of recover and to relax. And I think it's then business as usual. They'll have a game plan. They're the home team, so I would expect them to be the aggressor in this. A lot of set pieces, if you think back to that, where they've converted a lot of set pieces at home. So I'm sure that will be part of the game plan too, but to always continue to improve. So I think rest comes at the right time, and excited to watch them play again.
All right, Kevin, my man.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Come back anytime. You can listen to Kevin and his partner, Tommy G, who also joins us here pretty often on the show. They're on ESPN 1530 during the games or on iHeartRadio. Of course, if you're watching on the Apple TV broadcast and FC Cincinnati's at home, you can hit those 3 dots at the bottom and choose home radio broadcast. Last week, we told you about Junior Moreno being called up to play for his home country, Venezuela. More of the orange and blue being recognized by their national teams, including right here at home. After the break, we'll tell you about some more call-ups. Welcome back, everyone, to FC Cincinnati Weekly. The U.S. Open Cup, taking a couple months off. Don't forget, Inter Miami coming to TQL Stadium August 23rd for the semifinal round, as we all learned last week. And as you already, I'm sure, know, Lionel Messi joining Inter Miami later this summer. So, the greatest player in the world, maybe of all time, might be taking the pitch at TQL Stadium in mid-August. The Houston Dynamo and Real Salt Lake making up the other semifinal matchup in that bracket there. Specific ticket information for the U.S. Open Cup will be released later on this summer. Season ticket holders will be given first priority to buy their seats for the match. And next in line will be people with a down payment on next year's season tickets. FC Cincinnati is going trophy hunting, trying to make good on unfinished business from about 6 years ago. That is this coming August. Don't miss it. And a big FC Cincinnati weekly congratulations goes to Brandon Vasquez and Matt Miazga. Both of the FC Cincinnati players have been selected to the U.S. men's national team for the CONCACAF Gold Cup. The United States' first game in that is on June 24th. The U.S. won the last Gold Cup, beating Mexico in the final in extra time back in 2021. Don't forget, the Gold Cup is coming to TQL Stadium with a doubleheader in the knockout round. That is on July 9th. Yerson Mosquera also called up during this international break to the Colombian men's national team. Colombia will play a couple of friendlies, starting with Iraq tonight in Spain. After that, they will play Germany. That's next Tuesday in Germany. Good luck to all the international players. Well, FC Cincinnati picked up a new player, a forward from the Saudi Professional League, Aaron Bupenza. Aaron will join the club as a designated player when the MLS transfer window opens on July 5th, not too far away. Bupenza has scored 13 goals in 20 matches for his club in Saudi Arabia this season. So don't forget, FC Cincinnati fans, there are goals on the way.
Pasını çıkardı. Bupenza! Bupenza! Bupenza!
Aziz diyor bırakmıyor. Tehlike sürüyor. Şut! Mükemmel gol! Müthiş bir gol attı Bupenza. Bupenza 90. dakika fark bile indi. Bupenza! Bupenza! Müthiş gol! Süper gol! 22. dakika.
Got the step overs, and he's got the finish. Well, he's been an absolute scorcher for him. Baskısı, kısa kaldı top. Traore, Bupenza kaleye baktı. Bupenza! Bupenza!
Hi, FC Cincinnati fans. This is Aaron Bupenza. Excited to join to the club. And I can't wait to play in the front the fans at TQL Stadium. See you soon.
Well, TQL Stadium isn't just for match days. It's the perfect backdrop for your next upscale or casual event. Home to 7 different club spaces. There's a perfect spot for any event of 15 or even up to 1,000 plus guests. Complimentary event with stadium tours, a Gary the Mascot visit. That sounds cool. Full-service event management, seasonal menu offerings, and on-site AV equipment. Come join us at what was named the best venue of 2022 by the World Football Summit. For more information on availability and booking, contact private events at fccincinnati.com. After watching this show, we assume that you're an FC Cincinnati fan of some sort, but have you been down to the stadium to see a game in person? I'll tell you what, the place really gets rocking, especially this season. Up next, we'll give you a little taste of the party that is TQL at night. Welcome back, everyone, to FC Cincinnati Weekly. The start to this season, as you may know, for FC Cincinnati has been historic in just about every way, both for the club and in terms of Major League Soccer history. It's made for some pretty awesome nights down at TQL Stadium.
The environment and the atmosphere that we've had on game day is becoming something special. The more games you win in front of your home fans and the better that atmosphere seems, the more people want to be a part of it. And that's what the players have done with their performances, is gain attention. And we're really fortunate for the support and the backing that we've had to really give us momentum when we play TQL.
What's up, guys? My name's Malik Pinto.
I'm Joey Apanono.
And we're here doing the Body Armor Challenge. Let's get to it.
Malik's going first.
No, you're going
Bro,
first.
go first. Let's go.
No.
Strawberry banana. Bro, this is so hard. Hold up. Okay, that one's peach mango. This one's strawberry banana, and this one's blue raspberry, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Blue raspberry. Yeah, strawberry banana, peach mango.
What did you say this one over here was?
I said this was blue raspberry.
Alright, I'm gonna give you 3 out of 3 because you blueberry pomegranate.
Blueberry, okay, blueberry
This
pomegranate.
strawberry
okay.
banana and this peach mango.
Okay, okay.
That was a good job by
There
you.
you go.
I'm gonna see this strawberry. Yeah, that's blueberry pomegranate. That's strawberry lemonade. This is a dragon fruit berry. I'm done. That's all I got. Blueberry pomegranate.
Yeah. Yeah, wait. What was mine? Oh my god, blueberry pomegranate. Tasted good, man. Congrats, sir.
Good win. I know my body armor flavors. I drink them every day. Let's go.
Well, look, we've all been there figuring out what to make the family to eat for dinner. Now imagine doing that, though, for 65, maybe even 100 people every single day. We checked in with the executive chef at the FC Cincinnati training facility in Milford to see how he keeps the players and coaches fueled.
My name's Cody Kramer. I'm the executive chef for FC Cincinnati, and I've been with FC for about 3 years now. We feed about 100, say about 80 to 100 people for lunch daily, and then breakfast is usually about 60 people, 65. Because of the diverse background of the players and the team, you know, we really make any and all cuisines that give them some sort of comfort from home. So we'll do, you know, a Japanese menu or a Chinese menu to a South African menu, you know, American cuisine and Italian and so forth. So we're really here to fuel the players. So, you know, meeting with, you know, Phil and Gary is, you know, they have a regimen. They have a way that when they train, they need to have certain things on the menu. If you see on our cold bar over there, we have, you know, what kind of day you're having. For every hard training day, this is how you should build your plate, right? It should be, you know, 50% of a carb and 25% protein or 25%, you know, vegetables. So we try to leave it up to them to dictate that, and, you know, we base it off on how they train.
The beauty of having the chefs here at the training ground, they provide so much variety in terms of the cuisine that they put on. Without them, we wouldn't be able to execute the nutritional support that we have here. A lot of the guys have their preferences, so on game day, come pre-match meal, that is the same meal every week. Like, some viewers may think that's quite boring and mundane, but from an athlete's perspective, they know what they're consuming in preparation for the game, so we have a consistency across the whole season.
Really, the goal of the menus is it changes every day, right? So it's not like in a restaurant where you have the same menu for, you know, every day, every morning, every dinner. So we change the menu every day, different cuisine, different carbs, different proteins, and so forth. So we try to give them variety. But one thing about, I think, athletes, specifically soccer players, which I work with every day, is they're very routine. So sometimes, you know, they don't always like the fancy, you know, spread. They just want, you know, salmon, chicken, and rice. And so for those guys, we try to do, if that's all they want, then we'll make sure they have that daily, and then everyone else can enjoy the rest of the menu. So it's really, same thing applies to restaurants. You know, here it's just make sure the guys have what they need when they need it, and they have what they have to perform at the end of the day.
こんにちは、辰巳聡です。My title is Director of Team Administration. I guess every day is different for me. And it's a beauty of it as well for my job. But for the most part, I manage the team administration, team logistics, and just management of the team itself. So I was born and raised in Japan, and I spent most of my childhood in Nara. And when I was 10, I moved here with my family for my dad's job. So I've always played soccer as a little kid, and then when I came to the US, it's actually the way I got integrated into the American society over here. Didn't know any English when I came here, so soccer was my way to learn language and make some new friends here. Well, I think having you here is extremely helpful. Until then, I didn't have any Japanese players that I managed, but having them here is quite nice to keep my Japanese up. 全て真摯に
Welcome back to FC Cincinnati Weekly, a much-needed weekend off for the team this week. The next time you can catch the orange and blue on the pitch at home is next Wednesday. That's June 21st when they take on Toronto FC. Toronto's undefeated as of now in their last 4 games. Kickoff for that game, 7:30 at TQL Stadium. Again, a midweek game on June 21st. You can get tickets at fccincinnati.com. That is our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Join us here every Friday night at 7:30 for FC Cincinnati Weekly, the most comprehensive coverage of FCC you'll find anywhere out there. For our guy, Kevin McCluskey, and his partner, Tommy G, as always, and the rest of our FC Cincinnati Weekly crew, have a great evening and go FCC.